1988. It was the year of the New World Order. For the first time since 1914, the stretch of the Soviet curtain that had crept around the globe was starting to crumble. New world markets were beginning to unfold. As the fledgling markets of Eastern Europe were starting to open, it led to new growth in America. By being the last of the superpowers, America was brokering new deals in an awakening global economy. America was feeling her oats. Opportunity was waiting for anyone that had global vision. Out in the country's heartland, the executives of a well-heeled and respected boat-building company had just sold their interest to a banking conglomerate. Fred Claxton and his right-hand man, a bright, young, hard worker named Jimmy Folks, had just taken their dream to the top floor and then gotten off. The company was called Celebrity Boats, and it was sold to Payne Weber and Citibank in 1987. Like so many of the other old names in the boat business, Celebrity had become a new boat company all over again. The day Jimmy Folks walked out the Celebrity plant, the stage was set for the birth of Mariah Boats. Jimmy Folks was born in Beebe, Arkansas in the late 40s. He grew up in the projects amongst the gangs and the violence. Doing odd jobs to make money, he finally entered the boat business via the back door.
I believe he started off working actually for running a printing press for a gentleman that also owned a boat company, and he done a good job there, and the gentleman really liked his work, and so he just kind of evolved into boats.
By the time Fred Claxton, owner of Celebrity, met Jimmy Folks in 1980, the young Arkansan had become an expert in the boat business. Fred swept him aboard knowing that Folks was his ticket to growth. They instantly hit it off and became a team. Folks would guide Claxton's company from producing a handful of boats per week to over 28 units per day. With the success of Celebrity behind him, Jimmy Folks, at age 39, had retired for the first time. But for the hard-working Folks, retirement fit like a second-hand suit. He soon grew restless and desired a comeback.
The family was on our way to Arkansas to spend Christmas with my family. And on the way down, I started working on a business plan. Time we got to Arkansas, I let my wife drive. She had not driven in all of the years we'd been married with me in the car. Time we got to Arkansas, I pretty well decided that I was going to look into it, get my accountants together and attorneys together and bankers together and see if it's worthwhile, see if it's worth doing.
Immediately upon his return, Folks contacted the key people he knew would come on board and sought out those that he needed. Among them, Paul Shane, a well-respected attorney in Southern Illinois.
In December of 1988, a banker friend of mine who knew Jimmy and knew me called me one morning and said that he had a close friend who was considering getting into the boat business, that he was a mover and a shaker, that he needed a lawyer, and that if I had any interest in being his lawyer, I should give him a call. And he didn't let any grass grow under his feet, so if I wanted to do it now. So I called Jimmy and made an appointment to see him that Friday afternoon at his home. I went over there, and he was putting together a business plan. And we got to talking in his loft, and he really impressed me when he said, "Paul, I don't know if I'm going to do this deal, but if I do it, I'm going to do it right." And he said, "I have one basic rule. I don't want anyone to take advantage of me, and I will take advantage of no one."
Jimmy Folks knew that Shane was his man after that first meeting.
I didn't hear from him until February. I thought the deal was dead. He called me one day in early February, and in 6 words he said, "Paul, this is Jimmy, I'm ready." We created Mariah on February 16th, 1989, and the rest of it's history.
Now that Mariah was a reality, it was time to start. Jimmy hit the ground running. He knew that if he was going to build the kind of boat that people wanted, he needed to know what that boat was. Jimmy had to know every detail about the retail market firsthand. So, on the road he went.
He showed up at a retail show in Salt Lake City, and his goal was to go around and see what every boat had from a retail standpoint. And myself and a few other people tried to to show him what we were up against and what the competition was doing. I didn't realize what they were doing at the time, but it was because Jimmy was getting ready to build a boat company, and he wanted to have a better understanding of the retail challenge that was out there. We spent a lot of time, and I, of course, learned later that Jimmy spent a lot more time doing that.
When Jimmy Folks called together the group of bankers, investors, and boat retailers to discuss the company and what kind of boat should be made, the business of what to build was quickly settled.
He threw out his business plan of what he wanted to do, and they all loved it. He wanted to build a boat that there was no boat out there like it.
Then came the matter of what to call it.
He had hundreds of names, and I had a dealer from New Hampshire named Robert DeGangi that brought the name Mariah up. And when the dealers heard Mariah, I could tell in their face they liked the name. I done a quick poll. It was unanimous on the name. We talked about it a little bit more and done it again. It was still unanimous on the name. And after the second poll, I said, it's Mariah Boats Incorporated. That's how simple it really was.
Mariah Boats set up shop in temporary headquarters in the neighboring cities of Pittsburgh and Johnston City, Illinois. They began tooling up for the new boat line.
It was like a garage building, and there was, I think, 4 sewing machines, 4 or 5, 2 small cutting tables, a carpet table, about 7 tackers, and I think 1 gluer.
Tooling a new line of boats from ground up was a demanding chore, made even more difficult with the primitive conditions of the plant at Pittsburgh. But Jimmy loved every minute of it. One rainy day in 1989, hull number 1 rolled out of the factory at Pittsburgh, and Mariah was on the market. The boats were, by the day standards, beautiful.
When we made this boat, we thought it was beautiful, till we look at our boats today and we go, oh my God, did we really make that boat?
The Mariah factory of today has the same commitment to excellence, innovation, and customer service that rolled out that door in 1989. It just comes in a bigger package. From 70,000 to almost 200,000 square feet, the Mariah factory of today produces not 4, but over 40 different models of boats. It is, without question, the most fully self-contained marine manufacturing facility outside of the military shipyards. Mariah does their own tooling, carpentry, aluminum, and stainless steel construction. They form their own plastics, build their own wire harnesses, load their own dashes, craft their own interiors. They supply their boats with their own canvas. The genesis for this self-containment was the pursuit of quality.
We have invested millions of dollars to do all these things. It hasn't paid off yet, but I think it will pay off one day.
But as an innovation-oriented builder, Mariah soon learned that having all the tools of production at your fingertips also meant that there was more opportunity to experiment.
We can do something out on the floor to see if our ideas are going to work. And we can do that very quickly and very effectively, whereas if we were dealing on outside vendors, you almost have to make a decision, a final decision, before you send it off to the vendor.
Having so many things in-house certainly does give Mariah more ability to do all the new things that we do or try the new things that we try. But at the same time, it's hurtful too, because you're more apt to try things and fail at it and spend a lot of money at those failures. The dealers and consumers only see the things that we think will be successful. They don't see all the things that aren't successful, and there's a lot of money spent on those items too.
When Jimmy Folk set out to build the Mariah empire, he did not see it as his fortune, although he has prospered. He did not see it as a vehicle to power, although he has become a community and industry leader. Jimmy has always seen Mariah as an organization based upon its people. It is the prosperity of the whole that has appealed to him.
When you see a dealer prosper, and especially when you see a fairly young dealer come into it, and you're able to help him or shape him or advise him to get into the business and be successful in the business and grow and prosper in the business. One of the things that really touches me, the employees that have been with Mariah for a long time, how they've prospered, and it thrills me when they take me out to the parking lot and show me their new car, and they're so proud of it. I've heard it many times, and I'm talking about some of them 35, 40, 45, 50 years old, and they've been able to buy their first new car, and they want to show me their first new car or first new pickup truck, and I get a lot of pleasure or joy out of seeing that happen.
We've had people that are sick, people that need things. We've had employees that had their homes burned down, floods, things like that. He's always, whenever they've needed him, he's been there, and it's because he cares. He really, truly cares. Yeah, he has been my idol, and my the person that I wanted to be like. And to me, no one could have a better role model. I've just been extremely fortunate to have a father like I've got.
You will find that there is a deep loyalty at Mariah. Sales manager Steve Coyle hopes to make Mariah his last career stop.
One of my friends told me that he said, "I feel certain, Steve, that someday," he said, "when I die, they're going to find me over the hood of a car somewhere out on the road with a canceled order in my hands." And I don't want to end up like that, but I would love to retire at Mariah. I think it'd be a great experience, and I love dealing with the dealers and just the people around here. It's a great bunch of people.
The heart of Mariah beats far beyond the wall of the factory. Mariah has thrown down several gauntlets on behalf of several communities and organizations in southern Illinois. Under Jimmy Folk's direction, Mariah Boats have sponsored several scholarships at Rend Lake College, SIU, John A. Logan College, and the U of I. Pat Mitchell, director of the Rend Lake College Foundation, thinks that it is truly part of Jimmy's nature to help.
I think that someone was good to him in the past. I think he's a repayer, and he sees this as a chance to give back.
As is the head, so is the body. It is said that management sets the tone for the rest of the business. The atmosphere at Mariah is one of pride.
We're proud. Mariah's people are proud of their boats, especially when we look at somebody else's boat. We're proud. We're proud.
You can walk out into our parking lot and look at vehicles and see that our shields that we put on our boats, they're all over cars. And you can see the Mariah logos that are all over cars. So that shows me that our people do take great pride in where they work at and what they're doing and the boat they're building.
As Mariah chronicles its 10 years of boat building, it sits poised upon the threshold of the new century. The leadership and vision of its founders looking ahead, not back, planning for tomorrow's triumphs and obstacles. It is the ceaseless motion of thought that keeps Mariah on its course with destiny.
We committed to our dealer council to build a 31-footer for the year 2000, wide body. I intend to commit the dollars to add on to our facility to the south side. I've got another 1,673 foot to the fence line down there, and to build a facility to manufacture the big boats in. And I guess once we decide to do that, then we wouldn't necessarily have to stop at 31 foot. So.
For Jimmy, he sees more than big boats. He sees some troubled waters that must be navigated safely.
The last couple of years especially, we put a lot more effort into the product and the quality, the warranty service, and the service to the dealers. And the dealers have to do the same thing to the consumer if we're both going to survive. We've got to deliver a better product, and we've got to service the devil out of it.
Jimmy feels that Mariah and their dealers are unavoidably and inseparably connected to each other's well-being. After 30 years, one retirement, and one phenomenal comeback, Jimmy Folks is planning to slow down a bit and concentrate on the part of Mariah that is truly the reflection of the man himself.
One of the things that he takes great pride in and has a lot of passion in is new product development and tooling. He lives out there. That's truly what he loves. He loves to take something from his mind And he sees it and he visualizes it. And then seeing that finished product, he knows where to, knows the design of them. He knows what to do. He is the main one when it comes to designing our boats.
But just as the traveler can never resist the lure of the next bend in the road, so is this traveler forever attracted to boating.
I would not have committed myself and my time and my life for the past 30 some odd years to something I didn't love.
I know he loves this industry, and he kind of looks out for this industry. He's taken a lot on his shoulders in a lot of different areas.
Years ago, I remember when I used to wash dishes or mop floors or cleaned offices or made hot dogs growing up, or selling papers on Saturday night. I didn't enjoy that. I done that because I had to. I enjoy the boat business, doing what I do in the boat business.